Harvey bloodline. Have you ever wondered where you got that cute button nose? Where you got your ears that stick out? Or your dark brown eyes? Or your blue eyes? Or your olive complexion? Or your pale complexion? Well, today we're going to help you find that out. Because this week on the Harvey Bloodline channel, we're supposed to be able to make a video of whatever we want. So I've decided to do a genealogy tutorial of the McMahon line. So enjoy! I was born December 29th, 1961 in Ware, Massachusetts. My family was living in North Brookfield at the time. This is me at my grandmother's house. This picture of me was taken in 1965 at Camp Sachem in Massachusetts. My dad ran the scout camp. We were living in Burlington, Massachusetts at this time. These are my brothers and sisters and I in 1966 at Burlington, Massachusetts. There's me, Greg, Becky, Pat, and Kathy. Here I am marching in the Wallingford High School band. I only went to Wallingford High School 1 year. They tore it down the very next year, so this is my 7th year in high school. Joel Harvey was born February 13th, 1962 in Roseburg, Oregon. This is Joel when he is 2 years old. This is Joel at his high school graduation. Graduated from Glide High School in 1980. Joel went on his mission to Queensland, Australia in May of 1981. Joel and I met on a bus on our way to Ricks College. On January 2nd, I was coming back to school from Christmas in Vermont, and Joel was coming to school for the first time fresh off his mission. We were engaged on March 16th and married later that year on July 8th. My father was Bruce Kenneth McMahon. His middle name was his father's first name. He was born August 11th, 1929 in Whitensville, Massachusetts. His mother died when he was very young, and he lived with his grandparents in the same house with his father. My dad was in the Navy. At the end of World War II, he served on an oil tanker, and also at the beginning of the Korean War, he worked on a ship that shot out supply train tracks from North Korea. This picture is my dad's picture when he graduated from boot camp. My mother is Elnora Howard. She was born August 10th, 1935 in Worcester, Massachusetts. This picture shows her at 48 hours old. You can see by her weight that she was very much premature. She was named after a great uncle, George Martinson's wife, Elnora, who had died in childbirth. Here she is in the first grade, and again right before she got married. Bruce and Elnora were married on August 11th, 1956 in Elnora's parents' home. This picture is of my family in 1966 at Camp Sachem. There's me, Greg, Becky's a baby, and Mom with Kathy at her knee, and Pat. And you can see our cool station wagon. This is Bruce and Elnora at Camp Sunrise in the 70s. This is Elnora in the 90s, and this is Bruce in 2011 at his grandson Colin's Eagle Court of Honor. This is Kenneth Edward McMahon. He was born August 20th, 1898 in East Douglas, Massachusetts. He had 2 occupations during his lifetime. He was a spinner in the woolen mill. He was also a chauffeur for the Schuster family, which owned the Schuster woolen mill. This is Kenneth McMahon at Elnora and Bruce's wedding. The woman on the left is Hildegard, his second wife. Edward Francis McMahon was born May 2nd, 1868 in East Douglas, Massachusetts. His father had immigrated from Ireland. His mother was born in Vermont. He worked at the Douglas Axe Works as an axe polisher, and in his later years his nickname was Plug. The house that they all lived in is now a bookstore in East Douglas called Preston Books. He died on May 28th, 1943 in Douglas. Grandpa Bruce got his love of trains from his grandfather, Edward Francis. They used to make onion sandwiches, and Edward would take Grandpa Bruce down to the train tracks, and they would sit and watch the trains go by. Ruth Provost was born on the 18th of November 1906 in Sutton, Massachusetts. She was the youngest of 3 children. Her father was married 3 different times. Her own mother died 2 years after she was born, and she was raised by her stepmother, Charlotte TheHarveyBloodline. Henry Darvinu Provost was born on October 21st, 1886 in Manchog, Sutton, Massachusetts. He died on November 25th, 1908. He was a Maytag salesperson, actually, and sold washing machines. Rosa T. Milette was born October 10th, 1856 in Canada. She lived most of her life in Massachusetts and died on March 25th, 1937 in Plainfield, Connecticut. She immigrated in 1866 and spoke French her whole life. Charlotte Aurelie TheHarveyBloodline was born October 12, 1886 in East Douglas, Massachusetts, to John and Laura TheHarveyBloodline. John TheHarveyBloodline was from Canada, and Charlotte was actually born in St. Hyacinth, Canada. Laura, her mother, is Laura Cowett, and she was born in Vermont. In the 1910 census, Charlotte is listed as 23 years old, and she's a weaver in the woolen mill. She died in 1967. As you can see by this pedigree, we've only talked about a few of your ancestors on the McMahon side. All the ones that are highlighted in green are the ones that we had pictures for and that we talked about. Most of your ancestry on this line came from French Canada and from Ireland. Well, now you know a little bit more about the McMahon side of the family. This project took a really long time to do. I've been working on it every day, and I actually had to cut out all of the Howards and Martinsons because it would have taken me 3 more weeks to do them. I have way more pictures on their side. So that will be for the next time. I hope that you've enjoyed this and that you've learned something, maybe sparked your interest in your family a little bit. And that's it. See you later.